Hello, my name is Michelle Calvert. I'm the Deputy Aquarium Curator at the Horniman Museum and Gardens. I would like to present on the Beat Plastic Pollution pop-up exhibition, which I curated at the Horniman Museum and Gardens last year to create and raise awareness on the consequence of single-use plastics in our oceans and to inspire Horniman visitors to help prevent plastic pollution and become caretakers of our oceans. And this was timed to open on World Oceans Day. We were honoured to receive the Museum and Heritage Awards for Limited Budget Project of the Year. This was a real passion project for myself and the aquarium team, and with any successful museum exhibition involved the expertise from across the Horniman's different departments, from the front of house team, learning, natural history, exhibitions, and brilliant media team. The Horniman Museum and Gardens is located in South East London in Forest Hill. The Horniman connects visitors with global cultures and the natural environment, encouraging us to shape a positive future for the world we all share. The Living Collection showcases the beauty and wonder of nature across the globe. With this exhibition, we bring one of the biggest global threats facing our natural environment, plastic pollution. The Beat Plastic Pollution exhibition was part of the Horniman's wider ongoing commitment to reduce its own and visitors' plastic waste, including replacing single-use plastics in its cafe with plant-based products, selling canned water, and installing a water refill point. And the declaration of an ecological and climate emergency, pledging to place carbon reduction and environmental issues at the heart of the Horniman's work. The declaration is both a consolidation of existing work and a commitment to renewed ambitions to reduce the Horniman's environmental and pollution footprint, increasing biodiversity and inspiring others to do so. So where did the idea come from for the plastics exhibition? Myself and Jamie Craggs, the aquarium curator, attended the annual UAC conference. We were both presenting on Project Coral, our main focus of research at the Horniman Aquarium. Whilst at the conference, we saw the presentation on the campaign World Aquariums Ready to Change to Beat Plastic Pollution. The joint call was coordinated by the European Commission and the United Nations Environment Programme for aquariums across the world to join forces to communicate to the visitors the urgent global problem of plastic pollution. 185 aquariums from 41 countries have joined the campaign, and of course we signed up to such an important issue. Moving forward, this would involve an aquarium exhibition, including additional interpretation and in-tank plastic theming, social media spreading the hashtags, artistic responses, and public programming. The Horniman Museum and Gardens, focusing on the aquarium exhibition and knowing we only have a small budget for interpretation, we had to think carefully on how to move forward. In our aquarium, we have 15 living exhibits showcasing aquatic environments from around the globe, including only 2 small displays which can be relatively easily changed to represent different themes. Our initial thoughts were to utilize one of these displays to focus on plastics, possibly filling the entire tank with single-use plastic with additional interpretation. But we wanted to create a bigger impact on our visitors and really start the conversation on the plastics issue and draw as much attention as possible to this global threat. We decided to then utilize our whole aquarium and every exhibit in a month-long pop-up exhibition, using temporary signage and adding single-use plastic waste to all our exhibits to showcase the impact of plastics in the aquatic environment. The negative impact of single-use plastic on the environment is now becoming increasingly publicized, but far fewer people have seen the interaction of aquatic organisms with plastic firsthand. So where to start? We needed a lot of plastic. We put out an email to staff to save their plastic waste and place it in a collection points across the site. We crowdsourced around 150 items of single-use and plastic waste. The welfare of our animals is of utmost importance and comes above everything else. We pride ourselves on the high standard of husbandry. So adding plastic throughout our living aquarium tanks had to be thoroughly thought out and planned. Many aquatic species are very sensitive to water quality, so plastic used had to be cleaned with an aquarium-safe product to make sure no unwanted chemicals entered the water. As this was a short-term exhibition, there was no risk of plastics breaking down over time into microplastics during the time. The visitor hosts played a really important role through the exhibition to explain the care and precautions that have been taken to ensure no harm comes to any of our animals and give reassurance to our repeat visitors who really do care about the animals, which was lovely to see. The placement of the plastic waste in each aquarium had to be carefully considered. Our Fijian reef and deep coral seas display contain corals, which require lots of water flow. Any plastic waste added would be blown around the tank, smothering fish and corals, which would be an accurate representation of the effect on the wild, but obviously very unethical in captivity. So no plastic could be added into the water for these displays. Instead, plastic waste was spread around the dry rockwork theming surrounding the displays. In the mangrove display, plastic bags hung around the trees' branches and half-buried plastic flip-flops were stuck in the sand. The only piece of theming bought was a non-plastic net hung in our seahorse display to represent the large plastic pollution problem of discarded fishing nets, ghost nets, in coastal areas. This also fitted in with our plan to install new carpets in the aquarium from Networks, which repurposes discarding fishing gear collected from the ocean, recycling the fishing nets into carpet tiles. These beautiful carpets are now fitted in our aquarium. The fish nets also added enrichment for our seahorses, which hung off the net using their tails. One of the most popular displays are the jellyfish, which we breed behind the scenes. The bold decision was made to create a dramatic display, replacing the jellyfish with plastic bags to show the similarity between the two, and how sea turtles, which mistakenly fatally eat the plastic bags, thinking they are jellyfish. Above the jellyfish chrysal, a large model turtle sits, and a model moon jellyfish. We switched out the jellyfish for a plastic bag, further cementing the message. Opposite the jellyfish, a new poster was designed by the exhibition's graphics team, incurring a small cost for the image. The images had to be carefully considered. As you can imagine, searching for animals alongside plastic pollution can yield some very hard-hitting images, which would be unsuitable. This new poster is now a permanent feature in the aquarium to carry on the campaign's message. One idea for the interpretation to go alongside our plastic theming came from an example from colleagues at the Butterfly House Pavilion to create plastic water bottle shaped signs to sit underwater in each aquarium. But with a restricted budget and short time frame, this would not be possible. Moving forward, we would use external signage designed in the shape of plastic waste. So creating the content, I collected negative statements, facts and figures on the detrimental effect of plastic pollution on aquatic environments to portray the severity of the current situation. However, I did not want to overwhelm visitors with negativity. So for every plastic pollution fact, I gave a positive action or behavior change our visitors could make to reduce their plastic pollution and carry through the message, think local, act global. And every little individual action can build up to create a huge change. The interpretation content was mainly sourced from the EU campaign's website. Seeking advice from Emily Harris at the Horniman, we decided to split the signage into two clearly defined categories of plastic waste problems and calls to action, suggesting simple actions visitors could take to reduce the harm, empowering visitors to make positive changes. The two categories would be distinguishable by different shaped and coloured signs. Here are two examples. Over to the brilliant Stuart Leather and Christine Linton of the graphics team. They were an extremely busy team, but they gave this exhibition so much support. They suggested that I use vinyl signs, which were thin enough to see the rippling water when placed in front of aquariums. I sent through some shape ideas, and they sent through a range of styles and colours for me to choose from. I decided on the light blue plastic bottle design for the negative facts, and the light green bag design for positive actions. I paired each set of signs with a display that portrayed the message matching the habitat or plastic theming. For instance, I chose the signage of the ghost net plastic pollution with a seahorse display containing the fishing nets. On the larger aquariums, vinyls could be placed directly on the glass of the tank to make the message feel really immersive and striking, with light rippling water and shadows of passing fish. The exhibitions team then chose the exact height and placement on the signs and carried out the installation. A video on the seductive power of single-use plastics produced by the EU campaign was available for us to download, which we played on a loop in our aquarium gallery. The video highlighted the 5 most used single-use products to avoid, giving smarter alternatives, which I linked through the interpretation. The video was very playful and humorous, and children enjoyed it. Working with the graphics team, we produced a large poster for the entrance of the aquarium, giving an overview of the exhibition and highlighting the relevant social media hashtags for the campaign. An accompanying World Oceans poster for the exhibition launch was also created, designed by the brilliant graphics team. The plastic exhibition launched on World Oceans Day with free entry to the aquarium, increasing footfall significantly and increasing accessibility. The event, organised by Emily Harris, was a full day of ocean-themed family fun, with free activities to help visitors discover how they can become caretakers of our oceans. This included hands-on workshops with ocean objects led by aquarium staff and museum curators, 2 6-foot puppet ships flying around the Horniman, journey into the deep, creative storytelling and craft workshops, Curator talks from the natural history collections Jo Hatton and Emma Nichols, a green turtle taxidermy specimen on loan from the Natural History Museum, children's poetry competitions to win an ocean-themed goodie bag or a behind-the-scenes tour of the aquarium, a hanging fishing net installation to catch visitors' ocean pledges to help preserve the health of the world's oceans, of which more than half of those pledges were from children, which was brilliant to see. The day was a great success because of the enthusiasm of all staff and volunteers involved. The introduction of plastics into the tanks was shocking to visitors and had the desired effect to start the important conversation around plastic pollution and get people really thinking about the changes that they can make to reduce their plastic waste. Those visitors that showed concern for our animals were reassured of the high standards of care and welfare of our animals and the planning and precautions taken for these displays. From in-person feedback and comments via social media, it was clear that seeing plastic waste in the aquarium was shocking for some visitors, and some were disappointed not to see jellyfish. However, the overall reaction from visitors was positive, supporting the Horniman's stand against plastic pollution. A 5-year-old boy described by his mother as angry and upset by plastic pollution after visiting the aquarium was moved to create his own 20-page booklet, which he had taken into school and talked about in class, and also shared with his MP, who later visited. Another visitor told Horniman's staff she was going to clean up the beach near her grandparents' house. Pupils in local primary school's museum club created drawings and games themed around combating plastic pollution, and the Horniman's learning team were able to utilize the exhibition in their learnings programs. In total, 17,492 visitors saw the plastics in person. The visually striking nature of the display prompted social sharing by visitors. A combined digital reach of over 100,000 posts from the Horniman about the display were shared across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Originally set to run for 1 month, the exhibition was extended for a second month due to overwhelming positive feedback. I'd just like to thank the Museum and Heritage team for inviting me to present at this brilliant event. And thank you to all the staff at the Horniman involved in the Beat Plastic Pollution exhibition. And thank you all so much for listening.